ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Science with Sean. Hey man, if you are catching a replay, I appreciate you tuning in. Please share the show. If you're live in the chat, you know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all in a minute. Um, let's get to it. I might act a little ignorant this hour, but I just want to, I want to kind of get this build in. Anything that I discuss today, the links will be in the description. What up, Keenan? What's good, bro? Let's see what everybody up to, man. Let's try to get a good build in. All right. All right, hold on 1 second, man. I'm gonna shut the show real quick. We'll get it going. I don't expect a lot of people no more, man. You know what I'm saying? They only come around when it's drama. Nah, I'm just playing. But some people like that though, for real. They only show up when you're talking about drama. But something going on, so it is what it is. So before I get started, how much of the book you read, Ken? He said I got enough of that in my personal. How much of the book you read? Okay. I know there's a little delay, so I was kind of waiting. I didn't know if you pick up on it or not. But yeah, man, like the show, share the show. I don't know why the count messing up. Been light the last couple days. All good though. Somebody liking it though. They just ain't in the chat. All right, so look, man, check this out. Let me get this to these brothers. Boom, there y'all go right there. Oh, that's dope. All right, what up, ATL? What's good? What's going on? Hey, man, I got some good information feedback from people, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the feedback that I have gotten. But anyway, I want to continue the conversation regarding scientific integrity. This time I want to talk about scientific misconduct and just kind of pretty much go through and I don't know how much of this I actually get into. To round this up, but I ain't gonna get into it. I'm gonna leave it for a different conversation. Yeah, it looked like we'll just have a light class. But anyway, I don't expect a lot of people to show up anymore. Cause it ain't too noisy over here. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna continue to reach out to different areas and avenues regarding the information, because this ain't conducive to just one style of people. Um, there's a lot of people whose lives are affected by SARS-CoV-2 and continue to be impacted and infected by that. And most of it is due to misinformation. Well, not most of it. A lot of it is due to misinformation. Therefore, it's leading people to think that they don't need to be vaccinated. Shout out to somebody who just subscribed to the channel earlier. So shout out. I can't see who it is though, but I know somebody did. But yeah, man, come on, man. Like the show, share the show. What up, Omar? What's good? Let's get into this topic of conversation, and let's see if we can kick it the way we need to kick it. So I want to ask a question. Then we can get into it. Do people who get naturally infected, people who are naturally infected with SARS-CoV-2, do you gain any type of protection? Yes or no? People who have been naturally infected with SARS-CoV-2, do you gain any type of protection? Yes or no? And at what level of protection do you gain? I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if anybody can answer that. And how do you know that you gain some type of protection? How do naturally infected people know that they gain some type of protection? How do you know? Do you go see a doctor? You go get tested? Did you figure it out on your own, or just because you caught it that you're under the impression that you gain some type of protection? Because you seen or heard that people said they recover from COVID, that they got some type of protection, that it must be true for you too. Chavis, how you know that all these people who caught COVID went and got an antibody test? How you know that? It's people who are online right now arguing on Unc's page who caught COVID and never got an antibody test. They are just under the impression that they have some type of protection. And I can't make this up. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you know if these people got an antibody test? I mean, I know you saying the answer on how you can determine it, but specifically speaking to a group of people who are under the impression that they have some type of protection against reinfection. Come on, man. Like the show, share the show. Yeah. Yeah. So there's an assumption that everybody assumes that they actually get protection. He said, oh, no, they don't got that. Right. Now, here's the thing. The reason that I'm asking the question that I'm asking is because when we're having conversations with people and they talk about they have some type of protection, how did they determine that they had some type of protection? Because they don't trust the science. If they don't trust the vaccine, how they gonna trust the antibody test? If you don't trust the vaccine, how you gonna trust the antibody test? I'm curious because you sometimes your arguments are all over the place. Like when we're discussing that, and I'm not saying anybody in the chat. I'm saying people on, you know. All right, so let's get into it, man. Y'all boring. Y'all don't want to talk, man. All right, so published today on CNBC. You see the date, you see the time. Natural immunity doesn't protect you as well as the COVID vaccines. Here's why. Story written by Corey Steege. And we're gonna see what she uses to back her science up, and we're gonna walk through her article. So we're not gonna take her at face value for nothing. All right. Natural immunity has been a hot topic since the start of the pandemic, and it's coming up again as Republicans challenge President Biden's vaccine mandate for business with at least 100 employees. In Florida, for example, Governor DeSantis signed legislation last week that bans businesses from imposing COVID vaccine mandates, including exemptions specifically for people who had COVID and recovered. Now, we recognize people who have natural immunity, DeSantis said in the press conference Thursday. Whatever a private employer wants to do, you're automatically exempt because of natural immunity. This is the governor telling people that they're exempt because of natural immunity. If you recover from COVID, you do have a degree of immunity against the virus, but the amount can vary significantly based on the severity of your illness and how long ago you recovered. So do y'all remember when I was on the pseudo killers and there was this dude goes by the name American Dream, and he was on there saying, Sean, what are you saying? How do you know these people don't have any type of protection and they were naturally infected? And where's the science? And where did you get that from, Sean? What kind of sources that are you reading to come to that conclusion? What kind of data? Where is that data at? Can you point me in the direction? Y'all remember? I try to sound like I'm just a minute ago, but y'all remember when he was like that, on the pseudo killers, right? So I sourced it up and I told him, I said, bro, the level of protection depends on how severe the infection, because 36% of the people don't gain any type of protection. So 36% of the people that recover from COVID-19, if you do the math, 233 million recovered, 10% is 23. Add another 23 on top of that, add another 23 on top of that. So 69, almost 70 million people don't have no type of protection who recovered. Then you turn around and you look at the people who do have some type of protection. Their protection wands within 2 to 3 months, some 90 days on average. I mean, some 100, some 4 months on average. But we're gonna go through all of that so that we can make sure that we're having a direct, a right conversation, and we'll see what Sean know or what Sean don't know. So really, about half the people that recover from COVID, who were asymptomatic, those people who quickly recovered, they really ain't got no protection. That's why they're more susceptible for reinfection. And as long as they're susceptible to reinfection, new variants can emerge and occur. So then I told him the severity of the infection measures the protection. And he thought that I was making it up. So currently, there's no known way to test your immunity levels. We know this. So Chavis, when I asked People who've been naturally infected, how do they know they have some type of immunity or protection against reinfection? What are they using to measure that? We currently know there's no known way to test your immunity levels. So there's no actual test that'll show you your immunity levels and how long. However, the US FDA says antibody tests, which can determine whether or not you've had COVID, are unreliable judges of your immunity because antibodies alone don't fight against COVID. I'm going to say that again. Antibodies alone don't fight against COVID. Memory B cells and T cells also play a significant role in helping your immune system fight against infections. And even if you've had lots of natural immunity, getting vaccinated significantly boosts your chances of staying healthy, according to data published in last month's CDC and Prevention. The agency studied more than 7,000 people and found that unvaccinated people who recovered from COVID were 5 times as likely to catch it again. So let's slow down a little bit and let's go back and let's deal with we don't need to deal with the mandate. We don't need to deal with legislation signed by the Santos. But what we do need to do is the US FDA drug says antibodies. We don't have to go there. We know antibodies alone can't fight. So we want to start here. COVID immunity is about more than antibodies. Hear what else helps protect you. All right. There's been a lot of news around research in New York City, New York University, that suggests Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine is less effective against the Delta variant because it triggers fewer antibodies, and many questions exist whether or not people antibody levels will want and require a booster shot. Antibody levels are one piece of the puzzle, but not the entire piece. All right, for fighting COVID. Here's why. There's more to the immune system than antibodies. So in a recent NYU study, which has not yet been peer reviewed, and so it's just a study, okay? This is what they found out. Your immune system is complicated and doesn't just have one weapon. You've got neutralizing antibodies, other kinds of antibodies. You've got memory B and T cells. Think of your immune system like a football team. If you were just paying attention to the wide receiver statistics, those are useful numbers. But you're missing all the things that the other teammates are doing that are actually influencing the outcome. That's a great analogy. So you have your B and T cells that help, right? We ain't got to go too far into this. And then you have your immune system keeps learning. As long as your immune system is learning and training itself, then it's going to be better prepared. However, it can't continue to learn if you're losing the necessary tools to make it learn. So this is why vaccines are important, because more and more evidence shows that vaccines currently authorized for COVID are effective in saving lives and keeping people alive. However, it's a better way to train the immune system. Remember, mRNA vaccines develop the spike, synthetic spike. So it trains the immune system to recognize the dang on spike protein that tries to enter the cell and evade the cell. Because the body, when you go through your vaccination process, right, the maturation of remembrance for the immune system, it begins to train itself. When you're naturally infected, your body does not have that advantage because it's never learning the spike. It's only given one level of protection, and how long that lasts, we don't know. So let's go back. So and even if you have natural immunity, getting vaccinated boosts your chances of staying healthy according to data. So let's go to the data. All right, here's the data. Laboratory confirmed COVID-19 among adults. All right, here go your source right here. I already had it up. This was published November the 5th, 2021. It's actually reported on October 29th. The summary of this says, hold on, I'm tripping. Can y'all see that better? My bad. Why y'all don't be saying, man, we can't see it and all of that? What up, Chris? It says, what is already known about this topic? Previous infection for SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19 vaccination can provide immunity and protection against subsequent SARS-CoV-2 infection and illness. What is added about this report? Among COVID-19 like illness hospitalizations among adults the age of 18 years old, whose previous infection and vaccinations occurred 90 to 179 days. Like I said, 4 months, 5 months, what they're trying to give it. The adjusted odds of laboratory confirmed COVID-19 among unvaccinated adults with previous SARS infection was 5.49-fold higher than the odds among fully vaccinated recipients of mRNA vaccines. So you have a 5.49-fold natural infection. You're highly more than likely to be reinfected than people who have been vaccinated. So what are the implications of public health practice? All eligible persons should be vaccinated, period. So this article continues to break down the data that actually deals with everything in specifics. I'm not going to go there. I'm trying to walk you through the science in a particular way that we can learn on the go and keep it digestible. All right. So to date, only 59% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, remember, rewinding back, the agency studied more than 7,000 people and found that unvaccinated people who recover from COVID were 5 times as likely. So you heard me say 5.49-fold. There go your number. So we can bounce around over here. Vaccination offers higher protection than previous infection. All right, so study participants were over 5 times more likely to have COVID-19 if they were unvaccinated and had a prior infection. So if you've had a prior infection, you will still 5 times more likely to have to get a reinfection. This is what we're dealing with when we're having these conversations. So when we have people under the interpretation of, well, not interpretation, we have people cloaked up under the realm of natural immunity, right? Oh, natural. Oh, I don't need it. I got natural. I've already had it. I'm good. Anusha, this is good for your pops, right? He's had it. Oh, he's good. He don't need to get a vaccine now. You know, those people. No. Yes, you do. So today, the CDC published a new science reinforcing the vaccination is best protection against COVID-19. In a new MMWR examining more than 7,000 people across 9 states who were hospitalized with COVID-like illnesses, CDC found that those who were unvaccinated had a recent infection were 5 times more likely to have a COVID-19 than those who were recently fully vaccinated and did not have a prior infection. So you've been vaccinated and ain't had a prior infection? Uh-oh. So the data demonstrated that vaccinations can provide a higher and more robust and more consistent level of immunity to protect people from hospitalizations for COVID-19 than infection alone for at least, not 6 months, at least, meaning more than, I believe at least means more than or greater than 6 months. We now have additional evidence that reaffirms the importance of COVID-19 vaccines, even if you've had a prior infection. This study adds more to the body of knowledge demonstrating the protection of vaccines against severe disease from COVID-19. The best way to stop COVID-19, including the emergence of variants, is with widespread COVID-19 vaccination and with disease prevention actions such as mask wearing, washing hands, physical distancing, and staying home when sick. The study looked at data from the Vision Network that showed among adults hospitalized with symptoms similar to COVID-19, unvaccinated people with prior infection within 3 to 6 months were 5.4 times more likely to have laboratory confirmed COVID-19 than those who were fully vaccinated within 3 to 6 months of mRNA, Pfizer, or Moderna COVID-19 vaccines. The study was conducted across 187 hospitals. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. They prevent severe illness, hospitalization, and death. The CDC continues to recommend everyone 12 and older to get vaccinated. So, the development of COVID variants make vaccinations particularly important for people who recover from the virus. Currently, the Delta variant is dominating cases in the US, but most of the people who were infected in 2020 and all the way through until the middle of 2021 were infected with the early variants of the coronavirus. Now, David Chris Beyer, an epidemiologist at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, said this. So, it may be that you had coronavirus last year and you feel like, therefore, I don't need a vaccine. But that natural immunity is unlikely to protect you against Delta. Combining vaccination with natural immunity gives you hybrid immunity, which provides you even more protection than vaccinations alone, sending your antibody levels to astronomical levels that outpace what you get from 2 doses of vaccines alone. Goal, an immunologist at the University of Pennsylvania, told Nature last month. So this was told to Nature last month. COVID superimmunity, one of the pandemic's great puzzles. And this article right here talks about hybrid immunity. It talks about people who've been recently infected. There you go, hybrid immunity. Not long after countries began rolling out vaccines, researchers started noticing unique properties of vaccine responses of people who had previously caught and recovered from COVID. We saw that the antibodies come up to the astronomical levels that outpace what you get from 2 doses of the vaccine. Initial studies of people with hybrid immunity found that their serum, the antibody contained in portions of blood, was far better able to neutralize immune-evading strains, such as the beta variant identified in South Africa and the coronavirus, compared with naive vaccinated individuals who never encountered SARS-CoV-2. It wasn't clear whether this was just due to the high levels of neutralizing antibodies or to the properties. The most recent studies suggest that hybrid immunity is at least partly due to immune players called memory B cells. The bulk of antibodies made after infection or vaccination come from short-lived cells called plasmablasts, and the antibodies levels falls when these cells inevitably die off. Once plasmablasts are gone, the main source of antibodies becomes much rarer memory B cells that are triggered by either infection or vaccination. If you fall in the category, you may experience more side effects from the COVID vaccines like fever, chills, and tiredness because your immune system has already been exposed to the virus. That's actually a good thing. It means your body is mounting a faster response to the vaccine. Let's go a step further and deal with hybrid immunity, why people who had COVID should still get vaccinated. So-called hybrid immunity, that is natural immunity from an infection combined with immunity provided by the vaccine, appears to result in stronger protection than just infection or vaccination alone. There really is the dramatic increase in immunity in people who've previously been infected if they get at least 1 dose of a vaccine. Shane Crowder, immunologist, says, again, some of the most concerning variants, it's literally 100 times better levels of antibodies after vaccination compared to before for somebody with natural immunity. That's not a small change. Going back over here. Differences between the memory B cells triggered by infection and those triggered by vaccination, as well as antibodies that they make. might also underlie the heightened responses of hybrid immunity. Infections and vaccinations expose the spike protein to the immune system in vastly different ways. In a series of studies, Newsomwig's team, which includes Hatziano, y'all should know who this name is, right? You don't know who this name is? Vincent Racaniello knows who this name is. This person was a part of the book, the big book. The virology principles of virology book that I be reading. Theodora Hatziano. She in the book. And Benez compared to the antibody levels of infected vaccinated people. Now, see, both led to the establishment of memory B cells that make antibodies that have evolved to become more potent, but the researchers suggest this occurs to a greater extent after infection. So the best protection is hybrid immunity. Has been, will be, will continue. But this isn't surprising, ladies and gentlemen. Many studies of hybrid immunity haven't followed naive vaccine recipients for as long as those who recover from COVID. And it's possible their B cells will make antibodies that gain potency and breath with more time. Additional vaccine doses or both, researchers say. It can take months for a stable pool of memory B cells to establish itself and mature. It's not surprising that people infected and vaccinated are getting a nice response. Another B-cell immunologist at Washington University says, we're comparing someone who started the race 3 or 4 months ago to someone who started the race now. There is some evidence that people who received both jabs without previously being infected seem to be catching up. Ellaby's team collected lymph node samples from mRNA vaccine individuals and found signs that some of their memory B cells triggered by the vaccination were gaining mutations up to 12 weeks after the second dose. That enabled them to recognize diverse coronaviruses, including some that cause common colds. Of course, they make the argument for boosters because boosters always provide benefits, but you can't, we really haven't measured the levels of protection from just the regular vaccine versus all the other ones. And like I said, as we continue to go, more science will be available to us. So again, I pose the question. For people who claim that natural immunity will protect them and continue to protect them, how do you know how much immunity you have or how well your body is protecting itself from other variants of concern or potentially being reinfected? How do you know that? What are you using to measure your level of protection? I'm waiting. Naturally infected people, how do you know how much protection that you have against reinfection? Nobody can answer that? Okay. See, these are some of the things we got to start looking at people sideways. We have to look at them sideways because people are under a certain impression that they really have protection. You don't know that you have protection, and you haven't measure your protection level because they don't know, they don't have an actual tool that measures your protection level yet. So again, how are you measuring your protection? How do you know that you're okay? I done been, and people are, oh, I done been around a virus or this and that. Bull crap. How do you know that you good to go? I just want to know that. Come on now. Am I talking to myself? I mean, I posed the question. Where y'all at? All the people that talk crazy on channel. Where y'all at? All the people who said, yeah, I can't wait to get your book. I'm gonna read your book. Where y'all at? Oh, I'm gonna get your book and then we can have a conversation. Where y'all at? Come on, come on. What's up? What we doing? Where y'all people at, man? Copy the link, send it to your friends. Let's have a discussion. How do people who've been infected with COVID measure their level of protection? How much protection do they have? How long do they have it for? Are they losing protection? Do they have any idea? Are they clueless? What is their understanding? What is their understanding? How did they come to the conclusion that they have been infected with COVID and that it works? They have protection. They don't need to do anything else. We ain't got to go back and forth. I'm here to learn. Teach me. Look, y'all, you don't have to be shy. You can join the discussion. I'm just posing a question. If you've been naturally infected with SARS-CoV-2, how much protection do you have? What tools do you use to measure your protection? And how long does it last? Where did you get that data from? Boy, y'all are quiet tonight. Come on, let me know. I'm trying to learn what the business is. Come on now. Talk to me. What we doing? What level of protection do you have? I'm not asking a hard question. This is a simple question that I'm asking. Anyone in the chat can answer the question. If you've been naturally infected with SARS-CoV-2, what level of protection do you have? How did you measure that protection? And where did you get that information from? The link is in the chat. People always saying that they got something to say. This is your opportunity to say whatever it is you want to say, and now you have nothing to say. Where are you getting this information from? I am very interested in knowing. And since everybody in the chat is quiet right now, man, let me do myself a favor. Let me do myself and y'all a favor real quick. Hold up, I got something. Let me do this real quick. Come on, man. Like the show, share the show, get the people in the building. Where y'all at? Let's argue. I want to argue. I want to talk crazy and argue with people. Where y'all at? Y'all running? All right, so give me one quick second here and let's see what we can do. See if I can get this played for y'all real quick. It's coming. Hold up. What chave is it? Where you at, Chave? I'm gonna take us to Facebook. I sent the link to somebody. I'm just trying to get him a few minutes to see if they actually want to join. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns regarding what SARS-CoV-2 taught me? Please feel free to ask your questions. You can put them in the chat or you can click on the link and join. If you're on your way to sleep or something like that, hey, this ain't the quiet storm. Who just opened my door though? I said okay. Come on now. Where y'all at? Man, y'all be hiding, man. Does COVID-19 vaccines cause long-term effects? The answer to that is no. That's a myth. Watch this right here. All right, I ain't sharing my screen yet, but let me share it. Let me share it. Know how y'all like to live here, so let me mute and let the ad play.
We have had dozens and dozens of vaccines available for the last many decades, and we have seen absolutely no long-term side effects from any of these vaccines. And we're more than a year out from the first people who got vaccinated against COVID, and we still have not seen any long-term effects from them. But the real risks that we've been hearing about, the inflammation of the heart and the blood clots that are possible, have happened in a tiny fraction of people who have gotten the COVID vaccine. We're talking maybe 5 per million. And when you look at the risk of what COVID does to you and the risks of dying, which are much greater than that, a tiny risk from the vaccine is certainly something that you want to overcome. Get the vaccine, keep yourself safe from COVID.
Yeah, man. So there you have it. But we know that because we've been focused on several things. And I still,
well, as a critical care physician,
I still find it funny that that nurse or that doctor resigned because she didn't want to get the vaccine. And I don't want to operating on me. I don't want to operate on me, bro. I don't want to be around nobody, bro. I ain't protected against. Check this out real quick.
This is SARS-CoV-2. It belongs to the family of coronaviruses named for the crown-like spikes on their surfaces. SARS-CoV-2 can cause COVID-19, a contagious viral infection that attacks primarily your throat and lungs. What actually happens in your body when you contract the coronavirus? What exactly causes your body to develop pneumonia? And how would a vaccine work? The coronavirus must infect living cells in order to reproduce. Let's have a closer look. Inside the virus, genetic material contains the information to make more copies of itself. A protein shell provides a hard protective enclosure for the genetic material as the virus travels between the people it infects. An outer envelope allows the virus to infect cells by merging with the cell's outer membrane. Projecting from the envelope are spikes of protein molecules. Both a typical influenza virus and the new coronavirus use their spikes like a key to get inside a cell in your body, where it takes over the cell's internal machinery, repurposing it to build the components of new viruses. When an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes, droplets carrying the virus may land in your mouth or nose and then move into your lungs. Once inside your body, the virus comes in contact with cells in your throat, nose, or lungs. One spike on the virus inserts into a receptor molecule on your healthy cell membrane like a key in a lock. This action allows the virus to get inside your cell. A typical flu virus would travel inside a sac made from your cell membrane to your cell's nucleus that houses all its genetic material. The coronavirus, on the other hand, doesn't need to enter the host cell nucleus. It can directly access parts of the host cell called Ribosomes. Ribosomes use genetic information from the virus to make viral proteins, such as the spikes on the virus's surface. A packaging structure in your cell then carries the spikes in vesicles, which merge with your cell's outer layer, the cell membrane. All the parts needed to create a new virus gather just beneath your cell's membrane. Then, a new virus begins to bud off from the cell's membrane. Now, with the virus spreading in your body, how can you develop pneumonia symptoms? For this, we'll have to look into your lungs. Each lung has separate sections called lobes. Normally, as you breathe, air moves freely through your trachea or windpipe, then through large tubes called bronchi, through smaller tubes called bronchioles, and finally into tiny sacs called alveoli. Your airways and alveoli are flexible and springy. When you breathe in, each air sac inflates like a small balloon. And when you exhale, the sacs deflate. Small blood vessels called capillaries surround your alveoli. Oxygen from the air you breathe passes into your capillaries, and then carbon dioxide from your body passes out of your capillaries into your alveoli so that your lungs can get rid of it when you exhale. Your airways catch most germs in the mucus that lines your trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles. In a healthy body, hair-like cilia lining the tubes constantly push the mucus and germs out of your airways, where you might expel them by coughing. Normally, cells of your immune system attack viruses and germs that make it past your mucus and cilia and enter your alveoli. However, if your immune system is weakened, like in the case of a coronavirus infection, the virus can overwhelm your immune cells, and your bronchioles and alveoli become inflamed as your immune system attacks the multiplying viruses. The inflammation can cause your alveoli to fill with fluid, making it difficult for your body to get the oxygen it needs. You could develop lobar pneumonia, where one lobe of your lungs is affected, or you could have bronchopneumonia that affects many areas of both lungs. Pneumonia may cause difficulty breathing, chest pain, coughing, fever and chills, confusion, headache, muscle pain, and fatigue. It can also lead to more serious complications. Respiratory failure occurs when your breathing becomes so difficult that you need a machine called a ventilator to help you breathe. These are the machines that save lives and that medical device companies currently ramp up production for. Whether you would develop these symptoms depends on a lot of factors, such as your age and whether you already have an existing condition. While this all sounds scary, the push to develop a coronavirus vaccine is moving at high speed. Studies of other coronaviruses led most researchers to assume that people who have recovered from a SARS-CoV-2 infection could be protected from reinfection for a period of time. But that assumption needs to be backed by empirical evidence, and some studies suggest otherwise. There are several different approaches for a potential vaccine against the coronavirus. The basic idea is that you would get a shot that contains faint versions of the virus. The vaccine would expose your body to a version of the virus that is too weak to cause infection, but just strong enough to stimulate an immune response. Within a few weeks, cells in your immune system would make markers called antibodies, which would be specific for only the coronavirus, or specifically its spike protein. Antibodies then attach to the virus and prevent it from attaching to your cells. Your immune system then responds to signals from the antibodies by consuming and destroying the clumps of viruses. If you then catch the real virus at a later stage, your body would recognize it and destroy it. In other words, your immune system is now primed. Collecting evidence on whether this will be possible, safe, and effective is part of what's taking researchers so long to develop a vaccine. It's a race against time to develop a vaccine amid a pandemic. Each step in vaccine development usually takes months, if not years. An Ebola vaccine broke records by being ready in 5 years. The hope here is to develop one for the new coronavirus in a record-breaking 12 to 18 months. While all of this will take time, stay home if you can to protect the most vulnerable. And don't forget to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and as often as possible. This video was a collaboration between Nucleus Medical Media and the What If channel, where we usually dive into hypothetical scenarios about the human body, humanity, our planet.
So look, sometimes you got to go backwards to go forward. And in some claims, some people take us backwards. And then therefore we have to go all the way back just to bring the conversation back forward so that people could properly understand what's going on. PayPal. You've earned points. I don't even know what that's about. All right, so these are some of the things that we actually deal with. And specifically speaking, on a day-to-day basis, but more importantly, you know, just having a conversation with people and learning and researching and studying and things of that nature. But man, I see that people are really light in their conversations today. Wow, what happened, man? Who ran y'all off? Somebody else live. Let's go invade. Who live? We can invade they live. Who live? Zane, where you been at, man? Barbershop open tonight. They ain't open. Oh, okay. Barbershop closed. Gotcha. He said I've been jobbing. Kadeem, where you at? Alexander, what's good, bro? Chris, what's good? What up? Omar, where you at? ATL, what's good? What y'all got for me, man? Questions, comments, concerns, feelings. It don't even matter. What's up? Before I dip out on y'all, what's up? What the business is? I'm gonna drop the link one more time. I'm trying to fix my settings and it won't fix for nothing. Yo, this my, I don't know what's up with this. Notification. General notification. Sound on default. So beatbox. Hey, I dropped the link in the chat, man. Anybody want to jump on and kind of give me a piece of their mind or challenge the information? Hold up, go back. Where I go back? Channel. All right, there you go. I was listening to you earlier. Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. what we basically just went over with earlier today before we went left into a whole nother area was regarding natural immunity. How do people who've been naturally infected with COVID know how much protection they have against reinfection? And I also want to know what tools are they using to measure that, and how did they come to that conclusion? But now, after going through some things, I also want to know, how do you know when you've cleared the virus? I want to know when have you cleared the virus? All right, let me try this and see. There you go. What's up? If you've been naturally infected, how did you come to the conclusion? What tools or methods that you use to come to the conclusion for protection? And when did you clear the virus? Anybody can answer that. If not, just say you don't know the answer to it. It's some people in here tonight. Y'all just hanging on in there with me, but I don't really know if y'all got any questions or y'all just listening. Y'all want me to get y'all through y'all evening. So what the business is. Let me see what they said on the comment section, and then oh, that's Juju. She ain't say nothing. Let's see who on the boy, they be supporting. They be supporting the hell up out of this.
Certain cats, man. Talking about, oh, we got to be in the system, man. Yeah, we got to change the system up, man. I'm like, that's impossible. Change the system up. Yeah, we got to get in the system more. We got to be more involved so we can change. You mean like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world? Yeah. The motherfuckers that want some money. Right. Because that's the only motherfucker. Like the congressman. Like all of the presidents of the black. What is that? Black colleges, what do you call them? HBCU. How they showed up at Trump office eating watermelon and taking a selfie. And this is where you send your kids to learn.
Core crazy. Hey, who's seen the miseducation of black boys? Put a one in the chat if you've seen the miseducation of black boys. If you've seen the miseducation of black boys, put a one in the chat. Y'all haven't? Well, this ain't the necessary channel for that, but you know what I'm saying? There is a show that actually gets into that, the miseducation of black boys, and maybe we might need to get on the Mossy and kind of run through that lecture.
Suspensions. This is why. Because of these cultural misunderstandings. A lot of these students end up in the office, and when you ask them, why are you here? They say, I don't know. I just said, what you looking at? She sent me out. They don't have an understanding. So what we have to develop is this cultural sensitivity around the teacher understanding that I got to time my look. I have to use proximity, but guess what? I can't get too close because space is a cultural norm as well. In some cultures, you can get up in somebody's face. In other cultures, it's inappropriate. It's rude. So the students are going to say what? Get out of my face. Why are you in my face? What is the teacher going to say? Get out. Because
that's a little sample of it. This was held at the Boston University. It talks about basically more Black men are in prison today than in college. The underperformance of African-American males in elementary and secondary schools is persistent crisis. Sharaki Holly, founder of California-based Center of Cultural Responsive Teaching and Learning, says part of the problem is that many schools don't validate the home culture of Black male students. Hollywood's developed teaching methods that are more culturally and linguistically responsive, allowing for their crucial initial engagement between teacher and student. Here he discusses those approaches, demonstrates training exercises, and explores the meaning of culture versus race. This is hosted by School of Education and African American Studies program on March 24th, 2009. So I'll tell you what we can do. I want to kind of do this in segments because I know if we make this a conversation or if we begin that dialogue, that I'm gonna really need some people to probably be in on that, possibly, or might have an opinion on that once we get through with certain things. So I'm not going to do it today. I mean, I made a choice to not do homework after the 6th grade. That boy crazy. All right. So again, man, what I want to do is I want to get into that lecture. Now, the lecture from 2009, but it has so much significance today. I actually can do it on this particular channel scientifically because it's like I said, it's got a lot to do with a lot. Man, I'm trying to get this dude on, man. He running. All right. Okay. So he said for real, dude was pass the test and that I did. Oh, okay. That's what's up. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm about to start a show on the Massa, man. I'm gonna catch y'all a little bit later. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, and we in this thing. Peace out.